Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for joining this international webinar on the societal expectations from science and technology, organized by Department of Physics, Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College, Ludhiana. I bid a warm welcome to the all-renowned speakers. Professor Muronga, Executive Dean, Faculty of Science, School, Nelson Mandela University, South Africa. Dr. Jayashree Vidyanathan, Principal Investigator, School of Natural Sciences and Engineering, Bangalore. I also welcome Dr. S.P. Singh, Honorable President of Gujranwala Khalsa Educational Council, Ludhiana, and former Vice Chancellor, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. Sardar Arvinder Singh, Honorary General Secretary of Gujranwala Khalsa Educational Council, and Dr. Arvinder Singh, Principal of Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College, Ludhiana. Kindly accept my sincere regards. I also welcome our delegates who took their valuable time and joined us today to be a part of this webinar. We are honored to have you all with us. Prayer is a relationship wherein we humbly communicate, worship, and sincerely seek God's face, knowing that He hears us, loves us, and will respond. It is an expansion of total faith in the present power within and around us. With these words, I request Mr. Satyaprakash to play the college Shabad. Sir, please.
वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह। देह सेवा बल मोहे है शुभ कर मन ते कब हो न डरो हर सो जब जाए डरो निश्चय कर अपनी जीत करो निश्चय कर अपनी जीत करो बोले सोनिहार सत श्री अकाल। देह सेवा बर मोहे है शुभ कर मन ते कब हो न डरो हर सिख हो अपने ही मन को रह लालच हो गुण तो चलो रह लालच हो गुण तो चलो बोले सोनिहार सत श्री अकाल। देह सेवा बर मोहे है शुभ कर मन ते कब हो न डरो जब आदमी निदान बने अत हिरण में तब जूझ मरो अत हिरण में तब जूझ मरो बोले सोनिहार सत श्री अकाल। तेरा शिवा बर मोहे है शुभ कर मन ते कब हो न डरो शुभ कर मन ते कब हो न डरो शुभ कर मन ते कब हो न डरो। वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह।
Thank you, students, for enchanting us with soulful recitation of Shabad. Now I feel delighted to invite Dr. Arvinder Singh, Principal, Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College, Ludhiana. I feel great pride to say that under his able guidance, our Department of Physics organizes national and international webinars periodically and has chronicled huge success each time. Now I request him to formally welcome our resource persons and participants. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Anupriya Jan. Dear friends, good afternoon to all of you. For a long time now, various departments of Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College, Ludhiana, have been maintaining their glorious tradition of organizing national and international webinars, symposiums, conferences, etc., on wide range of issues at frequent intervals It's a great honor for me that in the continuation of series of such academic activities, today our Department of Physics is organizing an international webinar on societal expectations from science and technology. Well, on the behalf of Gujranwala Khalsa Education Council and Department of Physics, I extend warm welcome to Dr. Azwaddin Moringa, Executive Dean, Faculty of Science, Nelson Mandela University, South Africa, Dr. Jayashri Vidyanathan, Principal Investigator, School of Natural Sciences and Engineering, Bangalore. I'm sure that the thought-provoking ideas to be presented by our experts in this webinar will definitely broaden our approach towards the theme of this online event and enhance the knowledge of all the participants. I would also like to thank our managing committee of college, especially Honorable Dr. S.P. Singh, our worthy president and former vice chancellor of Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, for his active support and guidance, which always proves to be very effective for all of us. I would also like to thank Sardar Arvinder Singh, Honorary General Secretary, Gujranwala Khalsa Education Council, for his active support. I congratulate Department of Physics for taking such a wonderful initiative to conduct this webinar. Here I wish to acknowledge the professional commitment and dedicated efforts of Professor Jasprit Kaur, Head Department of Physics, and Dr. Anupriya, Organizing Secretary of this webinar. I would also like to thank our technical team. Finally, welcome you all.
Thank you, sir, for being the catalyst that stimulate us to do our best. Thank you so much. Due to COVID-19, on-campus seminars and conferences are not possible. So we invite you all for a virtual college tour. Now I request Mr. Satyaprakash ji, please start the video.
Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College is an esteemed institution in Ludhiana which is NAC accredited and affiliated to Punjab University, Chandigarh. The college has a long and magnificent history. The foundation stone of the college was laid by Sant Adar Singh Ji on 30th of March 1918 in Gujranwala, now in Pakistan. Sant Teja Singh joined the college as principal. After him, the prominent Sikh educationists like Professor Jodh Singh and Baba Harkrishan Singh provided their valuable services to this institution. That vast campus in Pakistan with imposing buildings, commodious hostels and playgrounds is now known as Government Islamia College, Gujranwala. It was renamed on 25th November 1947. After the partition, through the consistent efforts and dedication of Gyani Lal Singh Gujranwala, Gyani Raghuveer Singh and our long-time serving General Secretary Gyani Harjeet Singh, the college was re-established in Ludhiana in 1953. Sardar Maha Singh became its first principal. It was during his stewardship that a magnificent building came up to house the college, and this prestigious institution, also known as Nursery of Vice Chancellors, is committed to encourage, support and guide the students and society since then. GGN Khalsa College is working gloriously under the management of Gujranwala Khalsa Educational Council. A great visionary and educationist, Dr. S.P. Singh, is president of the council. He is former Vice Chancellor, GNDU, Amritsar. Sardar Arvinder Singh is honorary General Secretary. All the members of Khalsa Educational Council work strenuously for the ideal working of Gujranwala Khalsa College and 4 other institutions: Gujranwala Guru Nanak Institute of Management and Technology, Gujranwala Guru Nanak Institute of Vocational Studies, Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College of Pharmacy and Gujranwala Guru Nanak Public School. Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College, which was nurtured by several prominent personalities as the principal, is now touching new heights under the skilled supervision of Dr. Arvinder Singh. The vision of the college is to impart qualitative value-based education as enshrined in the teachings of Guru Nanak, enunciating the principles of coexistence, brotherhood, and above all, universal well-being. The mission is to imbibe the ideals of Guru Nanak amongst the youth in order to instill in their minds high moral values, to create and provide opportunity for the overall development of students that can transform the society, to revive high ideals of students-teacher relationship so as to inspire the youth to have yearning for acquiring knowledge and professional skills, to enable the students to inculcate patriotism and sense of sacrifice for the country. It is a multi-faculty and multi-departmental institution with Department of English, Punjabi, Hindi, Economics, Political Science, Commerce, History, Physics, Chemistry, Mathematics, Computer Science, FTPP, ASM and Environment. We offer numerous courses at graduate level like BA, BSc, BCom, BVoc, courses under the Community College Scheme, BCA, and at postgraduate level we have Masters in English, Masters in Punjabi, MCom, MSc Chemistry, PG DCA, and PG Diploma in Mass Communication. We also offer add-on courses of Communicative English, Journalism, and Bank Management. Vocational subjects include Foreign Trade Practices and Procedures, Advertisement, Sales Promotions, and Sales Management. New vocational courses have been started under the Community College Scheme, recognized by the University Grants Commission, and BVoc courses have been started by the Departments of Commerce and Computer Science. Recently, college has got sanction to start 9 more jobs-oriented courses under NSQF scheme. Every effort is being made by the tireless and hard-working staff of the college to provide quality education to the students as per the present standards. GJN Khalsa College has made a number of initiatives to promote research. So far, more than 150 national and international level conferences, seminars, symposiums, webinars and workshops have been successfully organized by various departments of the college. And these academic events were attended by eminent writers, academicians, scientists and subject experts from India and abroad. In these, a large number of teachers, research students and others associated with the academic field presented their papers. The college has so far published more than 8 books on the basis of research papers presented at these academic events. The college has signed MOUs with the University of Wolverhampton, England and Punjab Pawan, Canada to promote research at the international level. A Parvasi Sahitya Adhyan Kendra has been established in the college under the able guidance of Dr. S.P. Singh, and it publishes Parvas magazine after every 3 months, featuring works by Punjabi immigrant writers from around the world. The college has recently established Center for Punjab Studies in order to give voice to the social, economic, cultural and religious issues of Punjab and to create awareness amongst the youth about the rich heritage of Punjab. The postgraduate departments of Punjabi, English, Commerce, Chemistry and Computer Science have started new research centers named as Center for Punjabi Studies, Center for English Studies, Center for Business Studies, Center for Chemical Sciences and Center for Information Technology respectively in order to promote research. Under the leadership of Dr. Arvinder Singh, an environmentalist, special attention is being paid by our college to make the college green, with the objective of keeping the environment clean and hygienic. In addition to the widespread plantation drives initiated by the college, the students are being encouraged to take care of the environment. Today, it would not be wrong to call Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College as Green Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College. The college has made remarkable progress in the field of information and communication technology as well. The college has been made a full-fledged Wi-Fi campus and college management software has been developed to computerize the day-to-day administrative work. GJN Khalsa College is paying special attention to the development of the college infrastructure. Installation of 70 kilowatt solar power plant, new look to the auditorium, construction of new building of Gurdwara Sahib, inauguration of new cafeteria are some of the major developments which have taken place in the recent past. Apart from imparting quality education to the students, the college is also making special efforts to hone their talents. The prime objective of the institution is to promote excellence by providing quality education and at the same time ensuring the holistic development of the students.
Now, I would like to invite Professor Jasprit Kaur, Head of the Department of Physics, Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College, Ludhiana, to introduce the theme of the webinar. Ma'am, please.
A very warm good afternoon to all present here, attending today's international webinar, the societal expectations from science and technology. Science and technology have introduced us to the establishment of modern civilization. This development contributes greatly to every aspect of our life. Hence, people get the chance to enjoy these developments, which make our lives more relaxed and pleasurable. Without science, there is no human growth, no technological advances, no knowledge generation. Science is knowledge, and without an investment in science, the world as we know it would not be possible. Technology also plays an important role in society. It has completely changed the way humans live and therefore has shaped human history. Technological advancements are changing the world. The World Wide Web, WWW, has made the world a social village. The laser, the semiconductor chips, quantum computing, the printing press, paper currency, the automobile, the global positioning systems, telephones, invention of engines, and many more millions of inventions and innovations have changed all the society. Technology is the key driver of all economical growth of countries, regions, and cities. Beside this, science, technology, and society is a cross-practice field that is used for production, distribution, and utilization of scientific knowledge. The intercollegiate programs taught on the basis of STSR, History of Science and Technology, Philosophy of Science and Technology, Social Science Approaches to Science and Technology, Effects of Science and Technology on Society and Culture, and so many other programs and fields. So today we have to listen a lot regarding societal expectations from science and technology from our eminent potential speakers, Professor H. Dini Muronga and Dr. Jayashri Vidyanathan from National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bengaluru. And Dr. Muronga is from Nelson Mandela University from South Africa. On behalf of faculty members of Department of Physics, I welcome both of you for sparing your valuable time and accepting our invitation. On behalf of, so now I request Dr. Anupriya to kindly start the technical session.
Thank you, ma'am. I consider it a great honor to welcome and introduce Professor Azwindini Muronga as Executive Dean, Faculty of Science, Nelson Mandela University, South Africa. When we speak of change makers and unconventional heroes, we realize that most of their resolve stems from their own struggles. Their path to the success is often lined with failures and limited means. And it is in such situation that education comes to the fore. There is an African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. But if we read the biography of Professor Muronga, we can definitely say that the reverse of this proverb is equally true. His journey from the rural districts of Wambe in Limpopo to the urban townships of Soweto and to the dusty villages of Tosomo in the Eastern Cape was not so easy. Professor Muronga grew up in the villages of Wambe district Limpopo Province, South Africa. His primary school education took place under trees. However, from these humble beginnings, a lifelong love of learning was born. After completing his high school, he wanted to study medicine, but due to financial constraints, led him to enroll for a BSc degree. He did his BSc and then University Education Diploma from University of Venda, and then he did his MSc in Theoretical Physics at University of Cape Town, which he completed effectively in 1 year and which was awarded with distinction. With the success of his MSc, he was invited to apply for a PhD program at University of Minnesota. He did his PhD in theoretical physics at University of Minnesota in 2002 under the guidance of Professor Joss and was awarded Anisur Rahman Award by the School of Physics and Astronomy, the University of Minnesota in 2003. On completion his PhD, he was invited to take up the postdoctoral research position with the Institute for Theoretical Physics at Goethe University in Frankfurt, Germany. At the end of his postdoc position in Frankfurt, he got a second postdoctoral position with the theory group of GSI, Germany. This was, however, cut short when he was invited return to South Africa to take up a position as a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Town in February 2005, which he holds until September 2010. In October 2010, he took up a position of an associate professor in the physics department at University of Johannesburg and a position of directorship of UJ Soweto Science Center. He established the well-known UJ Soweto Science Center. In April 2016, he took up a position of Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science at Nelson Mandela University, a position he currently holds. His own research field lies at the intersection of nuclear physics, particle physics, astrophysics, and cosmology, studying the nature and properties of matter under extreme conditions in heavy ion collision and astrophysics. He has made outstanding contributions to the theoretical physics. His thesis work on casual, second-order, viscous, relativistic fluid dynamics was seminal. It has been cited more than 800 times and is now incorporated in large state-of-art computer codes written around the world to model collision between nuclei at high energy. He received 2013 Distinguished Leadership Award for International and 2013-14 NSTF BHP Billiton Award for his outstanding contributions to science education and leadership. In 2015, he was elected President of South African Institute of Physics. Currently, he is an ambassador for the Teacher Development and Outreach and Public Understanding of Physics project of SAIP. From 2018 to 2022, he has been appointed to serve on the South African National Space Agency Board, and recently he has been appointed to serve the South African Council for Natural Scientific Professions from 2021 to 25. He served on the board and steering committee of National Institute for Theoretical Physics from 2012 to 21. He serves on the International Advisory Committee of the African Strategy on Fundamental Physics and Applications. From 2018 to 21, he represented South Africa and Africa on C11 Commission on Particles and Fields at the International Union of Pure and Applied Physics. From 2022 to 24, he has been elected Vice Chair of C11 Commission at IUPAP. He is a part of the International Advisory Group at US Particle Physics Community Planning Exercise organized by the Division of Particle and Fields of American Physical Society from 2020 to 22. He has been the chair of judging panel for mathematics and physics category at the Global Undergraduate Awards from 2016 to present. So this was the short biography of Professor Muronga. Sir, without taking much of the time, I hand over to Professor Muronga. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Alipriya, and it is really indeed a pleasure to visit India virtually. I have been to India in Kolkata visiting Dinesh Vaishnava, who is probably amongst the audience here, who is the one who actually made this 2 days event for me possible. I might say that the introduction to the college was really an awesome video. I felt like I was there in India in person, and I can't wait for the COVID to come to stop, and then I can visit friends in India. As I've said, our two countries, India and South Africa, have got lots of commonalities, not only in cricket, but also being both part of BRICS, but also having collaborators in India. Up to last year, I had my postdoc. He was from India. He returned back to India. He loved being here. So there is more connections between South Africa and India. And I love to be in India, by the way. And also, just for the record, that probably in South Africa there are more Indians in the whole world outside of India. So you can see that I feel like I'm at home. Let me then share some thoughts about today's topic, and let me see if I can share my screen. And please advise if you can see my presentation. Is my presentation visible? Anupriya, is my presentation visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Thank you very much. I'm going to speak today about the values of science, and I will be focusing mainly on building sustainable socio-economic ecosystem through public engagement with science. My passion is on public engagement with science, and I'm going to argue that for us to build sustainable socio-economic ecosystems, we need to understand the values of science. And it's a pleasure to be addressing this to you. So I'm coming to you from Teveka, formerly known as Port Elizabeth. And it is in the coast, the southern coast, eastern coast, in the Indian Ocean, by the way. I'm facing India, but from the south. And what you see there is the Nelson Mandela University South Campus Summer Strange. And this is where I am presenting today's talk from. So Anupriya already gave you a brief about my story. And this is the map of South Africa before 1994, before Mandela was released from prison. So blacks in South Africa used to stay in what we call homelands. And right at the top there, you will see in the border between Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Botswana. That's my home where I come from. Yeah, and that is Venda. I remember presenting this some years ago in Kolkata. Then Vikashina asking me, why is it written down here that there is this Venda, which is independent homeland and being not recognized by the USA? So this map is an old map, pre-1994, pre-democracy. And I was born in this area, which was then known as Venda. And the demographics of South Africa was distributed according to the ethnic groups. And Venda is one of those ethnic groups with just about 2 million people in South Africa in the far north. You will be surprised that we have lots of Indian colleagues. In my high school, I did have Indian friends in those village schools as well. However, as I said, the place where we've got lots of our Indian colleagues it's in Natal, Devon, which is in this coast in the east. And I'm talking to you from down south coast in the Indian Ocean in Port Elizabeth, just to orientate you for those who haven't been to South Africa. And now we have got a current new map, a new dispensation democratic society where you see that those ethnic groupings are gone. It's a one homogeneous country now. As the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu would like to say, it's a rainbow nation now, and the map has been redrawn so that it's a one South Africa. So I thought I should give that background. And here I want to show, of course, as Anupriya introduced me, this is the village, its goals and its own goals. Will science assist South Africa, India to achieve the no poverty goal? What about the zero hunger? In South Africa, we're still grappling with lots of people going to bed hungry. But this has also been exacerbated by the fact that now we have got COVID-19, and which means science has to come to the fore. What about good health and well-being? We know that science plays a very important role. The development of COVID-19 drugs, that's just an example of the impact in society of science. And therefore, we in the sciences are in a better opportunity time now to showcase that science is important in society. And there is no place better than to show that through the UN SDGs. The quality education. I'm impressed that the aim and the vision of the college is to have quality education. Already by that statement, it means your college is already aligned to SDG number 4, gender quality. This is something that I will emphasize through my presentation today. In the sciences, we need to have more women and other genders within the science community. The clean water and sanitation. This is probably the basic right. We need to have clean water and sanitation. Affordable and clean energy. In SDG 6, to have clean water, we need scientists. Science is very key to have clean water and sanitation. Affordable and clean energy, science is again very key. You will see that science really is running across all these SDGs, and which means it is important for every nation to invest in science and for every college to have a quality science education. Decent work and economic growth. We need to prepare future workforce, the STEM workforce, those in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure. You will see that science also is very important in SDG 9. What about reduced inequalities? We can do that if we invest in science and technology. Sustainable cities and communities. There is no question that we need science and technology there. What about responsible consumption and production? This will become more eminent when I speak about the science values, about the responsibility by scientists. We don't even have to say about climate action. The Nobel in physics was given and awarded to those who have been championing climate models. Yeah, so which means they were using basic mathematics and physics models to model the climate change and to inform us about the dangers of our activities on Earth. Life below water. Here on our coast, there is a big company that wants to come and do seismic events in the coast, and the scientists are up in arms to say, no, we don't want you to do any activities because we need to protect life underwater. And that is another value that I'm going to emphasize. It's not only the value of what science can bring, but it's also the value of scientists themselves protecting the environment. And life on land, of course, more science in zoology, and peace and justice. Science can be used for peace and justice. It has been shown that that is important. SDG number 17, our two countries being in BRICS, that's an important part, which means we're already fulfilling that SDG 17. So I have just briefly highlighted the impact of science on society through these global goals for sustainable development. Coming back home on our continent, we have Agenda 2063, and which means on my continent, I have to make sure that we use science for the development of the continent. And there is much urgency for science for development in Africa, because it is predicted that by 2050, the population in Africa will have doubled. Yeah. But it's not that just population that is going to double. The youth in Africa will probably be the highest in terms of statistics in the whole world. Africa at the moment is the youthful continent. The majority of the population in Africa are youth. And if we don't invest in science, therefore, the whole world will be in chaos if Africa, with its huge bulge in the youth number, and we don't invest in the science education of the youth in Africa. So it's very important. And when we talk about the impact of society, of science on society, we start to look at that. That is why I'm going to talk about public engagement, which is very important for me. And of course, locally in South Africa, we have got a national development plan that is not far away from the Africa Agenda 2063, and as well as the UN SDGs. However, for us, there are triple challenges that are of primary importance in South Africa. That is eradicating poverty, eradicating inequality, and making sure that we do have a decent employment. And therefore, science will have a role to play there. So let me briefly talk about science, scientists, and social problems. And let me start by asking a question. And remember, the theme of today's webinar is the societal's expectations. What is the society expecting? From the society, they're asking, are scientists even aware of the social problems that we have? You know, we can argue whether that is a legitimate question to ask or not. But the society is expecting something from the scientists. And they are saying, are scientists aware of our social problems? A statement will be, scientists should give more consideration to societal problems. Yeah? Do we agree with this statement? But this is a perception, expectation by the society on the scientists. And if you're a student and you're going to be a scientist, you have to be aware of this, that the society has got expectation on you when you become a scientist. Yeah. So, and another statement that one can make on behalf of the society is scientists should be more responsible in considering the impact of science and technology upon society. I have given only the good impact through SDGs, the impact that, what the society is benefiting on. But there is another responsibility by the scientists, and that has to do with the environment. That has to do with the ethics behavior of the scientists towards a society. And the society is expecting scientists to behave morally. Those are the expectations. How do you then address these expectations by the society? As noted by Richard Feynman in 1955, he noted that it seems to be generally believed that if scientists would only look at these very difficult social problems and not spend much time fooling with the less vital scientific ones, great success will come of it. Do you agree with this general sentiment, which is coming from the society, saying scientists should stop fooling around with just looking and finding knowledge for the sake of knowledge, and they should start looking at societal problems? Do you agree with this? So, but this is the perception that scientists get when we get asked questions. What are you going to do about this? Where are the scientists when we need? So scientists must solve society's problem. That is the society's expectation. And the question for scientists and for the students and for the educators is, can we solve these problems? For me, in order to answer and to tackle and assist the society in addressing their and responding to their expectations, is to ask these two questions. First, what is science good for? What are scientists good for? That's question one. Question two, what is science good at, or what are scientists good at? Because the expectation it's from the society, from the scientists or science and technology. If we can answer these questions, then we will have a very good way of addressing the expectation by the society. These two questions should coexist. It should be neither one nor the other. They have to be coexisting. And they have to be attended with equal enthusiasm. At the moment, if you look at the first one, that first one, which is what are scientists good for? It speaks of the good or the purpose, that is the societal relevance, while the second one speaks of excellence, that is seeking the truth. And if you ask me, scientists are very, very quick to respond to number two, not number one. Perhaps you will disagree with me, but they will be quick to respond to number two. And what the society is looking for is us scientists responding to that question number one. What are we good for? We know what we're good at. We are good at really seeking the truth. We are good at really finding those interesting, exciting problems to work on and find their solutions. Yeah, I mean, looking at the galaxy 14 billion years, society might say, "What is that good for?" Of course, we could navigate and answer that, but I'm just trying to put to you that there are these two questions that we need to answer before we could really attempt to satisfy the society's expectations. The values of science. One of the values of science is the scientific knowledge. To us, to the students, to the educators, having scientific knowledge It enables us to do all kinds of things and make all kinds of things. By the way, good or bad. Yeah. Because once you've got that knowledge, you can do all kinds of things. You can also make all kinds of things. We know where science have gone bad before. Yeah. And we know that most of the time, 99% science is there for good. Yeah. But doing good things also and making good things with science comes with an added value. And that is the value of moral choice. That has to be a science value. So this is the value that comes with the scientific knowledge and how you use that knowledge. So it is very important that these values that I'm listing, when one goes to engage the public, one understand these values and one communicate these values clearly to the society. Because the reason why the society will have expectations, it's also the lack of scientists and educators and science students being able to communicate these scientific values. Within the scientific knowledge, there is this utilitarian value where science knowledge guides our lifestyles. Yeah? Science has got major impact in the field of medicine and health, preventing and curing diseases. We know that. And that is because of the scientific knowledge. Science is in our everyday lives. We know that. Then it has been highlighted at the introduction. Science gives us IT, making our lives simpler and better. Yeah? And this all goes to the core value of scientific knowledge. Because with scientific knowledge, you can do all sorts of things and you can make all sorts of things. As I've said before, going the route of doing things is another added value that you can find if you are in the science community. And science is always searching for the truth, which is the base of all moral principles. Yeah. And which means this moral value to our science students, to our scientists, it's core. And the society has to be made aware of this. Yeah. Science helps individuals to move away from false beliefs, biased observation, wrong judgments, and inappropriate decisions. Those things you will only get them in science by being trained in science. And these are the moral values that you get when you are trained to do things the scientific way. Science leads us to become morally integrated individuals, and this is generally true in the science community. And by the way, these are the values that I'm saying that the society out there doesn't know about them, or the majority in the society. What they are waiting for are the spin-offs, solving the societal problems of hunger, the societal problems of decent employment, yeah? No poverty. But it takes these values that are intrinsic in science in order for one to understand how to address societal problems. Science makes our lives systematic and disciplined. Just look at the scientists you have seen or you have met. You will see that these are the values that are built in them. And then the other value of science is the intellectual enjoyment of science. And this is with respect to that question number 2, which I asked, what are scientists good at? That's why I said they will be very quick to respond to this one, because they enjoy reading, learning, or thinking about science. They enjoy working on scientific problems, how the universe began. How is it evolving? How will it end? That question, what are scientists good at? This is their home. This is where their expertise territory is. And this, as I've said, has to be balanced with question 1. What are scientists good for? And what is science good for? And on this intellectual value, if you've got science education training, you develop intellectual ability. Yeah? And science education inculcates the knowledge of facts, the spirit of inquiry, the techniques of assumption, the power of observation, and the value of judgment. These are really things that you will not find anywhere, but within science. And that's why science graduates are more thought after in various vocational places where there is a need to employ graduates. Science develops our thinking, imagination, memory, observation, concentration, analysis, originality, systematic thinking, and reasoning. It trains you to think rationally, logically. Science gives us the insight that enables us to search for the truth and the reality of nature. And this is something that we need to communicate to the public when we do public engagement. And lastly, but not least, the list goes on. This is key to science, is the freedom to doubt. Yeah. Scientific knowledge is built as a body of statements of varying degrees of certainty. Some of those statements must be almost or most unsure. Some are nearly sure, but none of them will be absolutely certain. Yeah. This is where, when I argue with my colleagues in law, when they say prove beyond reasonable doubt, and I'm thinking in science, the freedom to doubt, it's key. Yeah, and it's a value. It's a value that we need society to also understand when we address their expectation. We scientists are used to this. Yeah, we are used to this. It's built in us, the freedom to doubt, and we take it for granted that it's perfectly consistent and to be unsure, that it is possible to live and not to know. Does the society or does everyone else out there understand that we are okay not for us not knowing? Yeah, and we are ignorant if we haven't done a problem. Another aspect is the understanding of the development of a scientific method. Scientific method used in solving scientific problems is also helpful in solving complex socio-economic and environmental challenges. But then society needs to understand that scientific method. Do we teach our students scientific method? When we communicate, when we go to do public engagement, do we communicate what scientific method is, so that there are not too much high expectations on the side of science and technology or scientists themselves. Yeah. Because our approach involves careful observation, open-mindedness, suspended judgment, free from superstition and belief systems, and so on. It requires rational thinking. And these days, with lots of politicking, rational thinking is thrown out of the window. As scientists, it's our responsibility to make sure that we keep these values like rational thinking. Does everyone else realizes that this is true, that freedom of doubt is inculcated, or it's like genetically built in scientists? That is, our freedom to doubt was born of a struggle against authority in the early days of science. Yeah, the days of Galileo Galilei, and it has been won over a much deep and strong struggle. This freedom allows us to question, to doubt, and not to always be knowing, not always to be sure about it. And this is something that we need to take to the next generation. As Feynman recalls, that when scientists have made a discovery and published in peer-reviewed journals, newspapers will write that, for example, scientists say that the discovery may have importance in the cure for cancer. And they argue that the newspaper is only interested in the use of an idea, not the idea itself. And for us as scientists, the idea, when you've got this idea, when you are working on idea, that is the intellectual enjoyment for us. But for the society, through the media, it's of the idea that no, we are not interested in your idea, we're interested in the end product. And this is fueled also by the media for not allowing the scientists to explain things, the process that is involved. Yeah. What does the statement mean? The statement that you will have crafted nicely, a scientific statement that will have said that so much is happening after 10 years in terms of climate change. The media will go and only write things that I think they want to feed to the society. And when the society spread that, that's why they think that scientists are not doing enough to assist in solving the societal problem. Hardly anyone can understand the importance of an idea. That's very critical as a value to us. This is the key important, especially for the educators who are educating the kids and the students. That if the society out there probably it's not really buying, the media is not buying, possible some children will catch on. And when a child catches on an idea like that, we have a scientist. So what does that mean to us? It means it is too late for them to get the spirit when they are in our universities, in our colleges. So we must attempt to get these ideas to our children early. And therefore, this propelled me into my last section of my talk, and that is public engagement with science. The first thing is we have to underscore that this should be a two-way street with mutual benefit. Yeah, it is not scientists going to say this is what we know. No. It has to be a two-way street where scientists learn from the society and the society learn from scientists. We have to co-create solutions to societal problems. The public, including children, should be given an opportunity to engage with science and the way of doing science, the scientific method, yeah? And the way of being scientists, intellectual enjoyments. The society needs to understand that. Scientists should establish partnerships with society for mutual benefit. Yeah. And I'm sure you know of these two icons. They are both legs. You are having a statesman who is for social justice, and you have a scientist who is really asking deep fundamental science questions. And they are in one room talking about social justice issues as well as science issues. That's what we want. That is symbolic of what we want in order to address this, the societal expectations from science and technology. And I'm going to go through here quickly on some of the initiatives that I have been involved in. I have taken my Faculty of Science and said, let's get out of our comfort zone from our towers, in our building, in our offices, and go into the communities and talk to the communities and form partnerships. We're not going there as the people who knows it all. We are going there trying to understand societal, dynamics, the complexities. Because you will find that actually the people in the society already have the solutions. You just have to beef those solutions up. You just have to support them, and you just have to work together. And what we do in my faculties, in my role as the executive dean, is to take the faculty and say, let's go out in the community. Let's take this science out there in the community and talk to people about science. And in doing so, we also learn science from the society. When there are environmental challenges, we understand each other and we come together and solve those issues. Here in these pictures, you see the faculty is visiting one of the royal families in the villages in Wembe district where I grew up. because I know the dynamics because I walk through there. So it's easier to integrate and use this as a model. But we don't go there and say, yeah, here we come, what are the problems, and we go up. We form partnerships. And in the top right picture, because of these partnerships, even when the royal family now it's doing something that probably you think have got nothing to do with us, installing their own chief. Because of our relationship, they said we need also the Faculty of Science to come and be part of our activity. When we have our open days, when we have our showcasing and exhibition, you'll find that these royal families, they bust their people and said, you have to go to the university. So the two-way street is very important, and those partnerships have to be long-lasting. You don't go and say we were here and we tick the boxes that we were supposed to do this as part of our KPIs and we're gone. That was what we call hit and run. So the hit and run model does not lead to sustainable socio-economic system. Okay, so here it's on another event, and I have to tell this story within a minute or so. On the left side, it's during night in Africa. Within the villages, no street lights, no? And the villagers have learned that there are scientists who are having exhibitions in a local nearby town hall, and they are really coming to talk to high school learners and educators. And one of the royal family decided to send messengers to come to where the exhibition was taking place to say, we are inviting the people who are doing the exhibitions to come and spend time with the royal family. So we said we will come in the evening after hours. And we said we will be with the royal family at night so that we can demonstrate and we can, we can do night sky viewing with our telescopes there. And then indeed we arrived there. When we arrived at this royal family, we were surprised because it was no longer the royal family that was there. It was the entire village that was there, including the school learners who, for some reason, it is during the night, they still came with their uniforms at the advice and instructions of their educators. Said, there is something that is going to happen at the royal family in this village. You better have to be prepared. That is the left picture. And we were not expecting the entire village to be there. And as scientists, we can solve problems standing on our feet. And we said, what are we going to do now? Because the entire village was here. We thought we were just going to put our telescope, mount our telescope, and do some viewing here. And because it was already in our blood to solve problems, we quickly scrambled things that we had in our cars, take the projector out, mount a screen, and start teaching the solar system to the young and the old. In that teaching, I was asked to climb up the stage and do that teaching under the tree that you see now during the daylight on my right picture. But the young and the old were there, and we were giving the scientific method and the science under the tree, under the night skies in Africa. And this is what I have been doing across South Africa and the region in Africa. And this is the visit to Mandela's birthplace. On 2018, it was going to mark his 100th birthday. And I took Nelson Mandela University to Mandela's birthplace, where we were hosted by Mandela School of Science and Technology. And it was all about science and the people. And this journey started long before I came here, as it was introduced in my introduction. But I have been going from village to village, from township to township, from place to place, trying to bring science and the scientific methods especially to the youth, especially to those marginalized population in the rural areas of South Africa, starting from primary schools all the way to the university, and sometimes in massive numbers of people coming to science fairs and exhibitions. As it was noted, it is better to go to children. Perhaps they will catch the idea of what the scientific method is, so that the future generation still have these free thoughts of doubting. And being in Africa, you don't have much of the infrastructure. So when we conduct all our outreach, it's under the trees. Anyway, my first class in school was under the trees. So I don't mind. And these kids, they know that we have to improvise. And as scientists, we have to come with plans. And you will find us having experiments under the trees, having lectures under the trees because of lack of resources. That does not stop us because scientists can solve problems, and that's intrinsic in them. This makes us also have long life partnership with schools and communities as scientists, and that's something that we have to eliminate. And then finally, the teachers are very important in communicating the science and the scientific methods and the values of science. Because thousands and thousands of school learners and students, they come through them year after year. And therefore, empowering teachers has been a passion of mine. And you will have heard that I'm now the ambassador for teachers and outreach development in the South African Institute of Physics, which I'm still carrying in South Africa and in the continent. And we do this so that the social value of science is realized. Nations that invest in science develop and progress at much health rates. Today's society stands on the pillars of scientific knowledge and technology. All our social activities are much dependent on science and technology. Science teaches us to live healthy lives and to protect our environment. In conclusion, I have to go back to Richard Feynman, who said, "It is our responsibility as scientists, knowing the great progress and great value of statistical philosophy of ignorance, the great progress that is the fruit of freedom of thought, to proclaim the value of this freedom, to teach how doubt is not to be feared, but to be welcomed and discussed, and to demand as our duty to all coming generations." And I'm saying, of all its many values, the greatest value of science must be the freedom to doubt. And this must be part of public engagement with science. If we do that, as Nelson Mandela said, education is the best weapon we can use to change the world. And this is our brand promise at Nelson Mandela University. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Professor Muronga, for such a wonderful presentation. It seems everyone wants to express appreciation for your presentation, your years of work, and your love to help the people has present one of the most memorable session. So you are really doing a wonderful work. Really. Thank you so much, sir, for guiding us and making this session the memorable one. Now, I would like to call, sir, our student wants to ask some question. Lucky, you want to ask something?
Yes, good afternoon
Yes.
to all here. Sir, my question is, how can science solve all problems created by science?
Sir,
Select-
please unmute yourself. Professor Muronga, please unmute yourself.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Thank you. I was speaking to myself. Thank you for that. That is a very good question, and it is always asked by my environmentalist friends here. Um, when we invented most of the things, it was the society that said, "Yeah, we need to carry things, and science can make plastic, but plastic is not good, right? We know plastic is not good for the environment." And we were helping the society. Some of these things are as a result of wanting to help the society. And sometimes the basics idea, science can only tell you that you can make such things. But if the industry and the big companies take away and commercialize those ideas, it's outside the hands of scientists who came with the idea that you can make something from something. And those are the ideas. And most of the time we are doing those things to help the society. But some of those things are becoming the challenge. But there are solutions, recycling. There are researchers who are researching in making sure that can we recycle the tires that are populating the planet? Can we recycle the plastics? Can we come up with solutions? It is against science, not the society that is coming with the solution. So science can also come up with the solution, but it was not the intentions of an idea to create something that will become problematic in the I see.
Thank you,
Dinesh,
sir. Yes, sir. Sir Srivastava sir also wants to ask a question. Just a minute, sir. Sir Dinesh Srivastava ji.
Dinesh, are you on?
Okay. Sir, you can ask.
Okay. So Ajwini,
Yes, Dinesh.
that was a wonderful talk. Beautiful.
Thank you, Dinesh.
And you have developed so much since 1995, and I knew you as a young master's student, and when I met you in Minnesota, so nice to see you developing and caring so much for your country. I would just like to ask you, to add on your wonderful talk, because today we are celebrating what is known as International Day for Women in Science. Now, science itself is neglected, and women are doubly neglected. So, women in science is a subject on which you should say a few words.
Thank you very much, Dinesh. Yes, and happy International Women's Day to all the women in the audience. Thank you very much. Yes, and you touch on a very important topic, and sometimes for me coming from South Africa, I probably take it for granted, because you will know that I grow under Mama Winnie Mandela, Albertina Sisulu, the greatest women still one, Sir Helen Joseph, and so many women who assist this country, liberation of the people of this country. The Winnie Mandelas of our country have done a lot. And because of that, since 1994, when Mandela came, Mandela made sure that in his cabinet, there will be women. So we learn from the top. And that means that even the science community has to follow suit. And if you look, before I became the president of the South African Institute of Physics, my predecessor was a female president, Eagle Gladly. So in South Africa, we have made strides. And when I was also the president of the South African Institute of Physics, I made sure that within the council of the South African Institute of Physics, we have got many women represented in that science council, not just as students, but also in the council, because they will be able to bring women affairs at the top echelon. So if you look now, leading the science faculty at Mandela University, one of the philosophy and principle is diversity and inclusion in sciences. That is, we can be strong in science if we've got diversity and inclusion. And that includes, of course, gender. Whenever I do something, I will ask, if they're forming a committee in my faculty, I will ask whether that committee is diverse and inclusive. If it's not, they will have to go back and reconstitute the committee, because even when we talk about two students, I will always say that the student representatives is always male dominated. Where are the female students? So it's something that is in my heart. And it's also because where I grew up when I was still a young boy, in my culture, in the Venda culture, your father's sisters, you listen to them more than to your father. They are the cornerstone of the family. And therefore you take that with you wherever you go. Thanks for that important question, Dinesh.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We hope you can join us again in future. And thank you so
Thank you.
much for your precious time.
Thank you,
sir.
thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. It was nice
Bye.
being here. Bye.
Now I feel honored to introduce you all with the second speaker of the day, Dr. Jayashri Vidyanathan, Principal Investigator, School of Natural Sciences and Engineering, Bangalore. Dr. Jayashri is working as a scientist and principal investigator at National Institute of Advanced Studies in Bangalore. She is an environment scientist trained in meteorology and specialized on hydrometeorology at doctorate and postdoctoral levels. She is also specialized on remote sensing and GIS. Dr. Jayashri has worked extensively on impact of land cover and climate change in the river basin contexts. Dr. Jayashri has also worked on understanding the social and technological issues with respect to drinking water scarcity, pan-India, and on water sanitization and hygiene issues in selected regions. She has a consultant to international organizations such as Winrock International, CCES Global, and Institute for Social and Economic Transitions, USA, and a member of several advisory committees. She has presented several papers in both national and international conferences and several publications to her credit, both in peer-reviewed journals as well as in media. Dr. Jayashri is also a trainer of trainers and has conducted several trainings for school children and women self-groups on issues related to natural resources conservation and management. She is interested in environment education, specifically on understanding how the glorious ancient Indian knowledge system can be made use in addressing the contemporary challenges with respect to the resource conservation and environment sustainability. Her current research is on a value addition of aquatic weeds on energy generation, pollution abatement and women empowerment. She is also interested on ancient Indian wisdom for water and environment conservation. On the behalf of organizing team, I extend a very warm welcome to you, ma'am. So without taking much of the time, I hand over to Dr. Jayashri. It's over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Dr. Anupriya. First of all, a warm welcome to everyone. And I would like to thank the organizers, especially Dr. Singh and Dr. Arvind Singh, Jaspir Gormad, ma'am, and the distinguished speaker who has come up with a very nice talk just before me. And Dinesh Srivastavaji is here. I just wanted to say hello to him because we are working in the same institute. Okay, so, and my colleague is also there. So, and to all women, I would just wanted to convey that, convey my wishes for International Women Day. And DST is today organizing one seminar for women, which I could not participate because I have taken up this assignment. So today I will just go to my talk for today. This is on I think I hope my screen is visible. Dr. Anupriya, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. But it's still not visible. Sharing your sharing your screen, but your PPT. Yes, yes. Now it's visible.
Yeah. So today I will be talking on the societal impacts of advancements in science and technology. And just to brief me, this is to Muringa sir. Actually, I am a person who has been involved in communicating science to the society since like almost 15 to 18 years. And I know the difficulty of communicating science to society. It is not something which we write on papers. It's very different. As you have experienced, it is. I don't have to tell that it is not an easy game for anyone, because what society understands when we speak and what we try to speak and what they gain from it is very, very different. And this science communication is a subject of its own, with a lot of information passing on in various directions. And it's a role of scientists to take our research to the society so that they also benefit. So one of the important aspect of science is to communicate to the people. And after his talk, basically, this is not something I am not going to talk something it's only a very simple talk, not much of data, not much of experience. It's just an introduction to how the advancements could impact our society. And this is meant for students. So I have tried to make it as simple as possible. So as we all know, modernization is every aspect of life. Is the greatest example where science and technology implementation is happening. And when the modern gadgets are introduced, our life becomes more and more simple. And this is a combination of science and technology, which are essential for rapid development of the nation. So as we are in the era of science and technology, every new technology come up makes our life comfortable and easier. It has changed our means of communication, way of work, our housing, clothing, food, etc. And even it has increased our longevity. So many luxuries we are enjoying. So we can actually say it is indispensable for our life. And in one way, those science technology they are actually interconnected, and it impacts society. We all know that it's nothing like new theory I am saying, because they are, though they different, they are related, interdependent, and integrated into the modern world. We know science is a knowledge creation in a systematic way, whereas technology is application of scientific knowledge. We need both for our country to progress. So these are coming to new discoveries, and therefore we can use our science to predict our some of the future. It's just like more like the science has actually predicted climate change and impacts we can predict. What will be our Earth after few years? All these can be predicted to some extent because these are all advancements in science and technology. At the same time, the science on one side is giving you scope for improvement. At the same time, it has the power to destroy also. So it is like making and marry. So this is how we can think the societal impacts of science and technology, because there are two examples. One is the computer, one is a bomb. One is going to help us, one is going to harm us. So these are two examples of how it can be useful and how it can be harmful. So as I told, this relationship is there, which is very complex. The scientists use their knowledge to develop technology and used technology to develop science. So they are like integrating and complementing. We are using science and technology on all walks of life. May not even think. So when we use one technology, we may not even think the science behind, because it is not our cup of tea or our interest. We are busy in using the technology rather than understanding the science. There are few people only thinks about science who are very cautious when they use technology, and it's very difficult to say that who will be cautious and who will not be cautious. Like, it's all depend on the individual. So for example, when we use mixie, we never try to see what is the science behind the working of mixie. So it has become part of our life, because without current and without mixie, we can't imagine even half a day in our life. So this is something that when we use technology, we don't actually see science. But if you see, society is provoking, or society is behind an innovation that mixie. Earlier it used to use only wet and dry grinding. Now it can be used even for atta kneading and vegetable cutting. So these are all coming up from societal expectations. So one question of today is, what is the expectation of science, societal expectation from science and technology? So we want more technology for making our life more and more simpler, and more easier, and more faster. So no one has time. Actually, they are all busy in this modern world. So driving one to do more discoveries and making them work through technology, and we are living in the society totally dependent on science and technology. Without as I have already told, without knowledge on the same. So we can actually say technology is not any more applied science than science is applied technology. So because of advancements in IT, we use mobile apps. So it has become like, earlier it used to used only for calling. Now it is becoming part of our social networking and connecting with others, the grocery, milk, everything. We are using mobile apps. So every day the technology is improving, and we can't now imagine a day without a mobile. So even to go out, we need mobile. So nobody actually cares how much damaging it is, or how much effort or how much resources are getting into the usage of mobiles, and how much footprints, basically the damages or the resource utilization goes into usage of mobile. So actually speaking, when we use a mobile phone for 1 hour, it produces almost 68 kilograms of carbon dioxide emissions. Smartphones also have, because precious metals leaking out, processing, and all release lot of carbon dioxide emissions. It is a carbon intensive process. Then production, transport, usage, recycling, all these are releasing some amount of CO2 that is damaging to our environment. So similarly, the usage of water, we never know. When we see a mobile, we never realize that almost like 12,760 liters of water has gone into the production of a smartphone. So these anything what we use today, with any process or any equipment we use, has a ecological, water and carbon footprint that are directly connected to the environmental damages that we cause. How and these role of society, when we say role of society, society is the driving force for innovations. As I have already given an example, it is the driving force. So society, by way of creation of knowledge, then utilizing the knowledge, takes us to the path of prosperity. So for a nation to prosperous, to be in that path, we need the science and technology advancements. So it is like I have already told that science and technology are interrelated and connected. So, actually, technology contribute to science, and science also contribute to technology. By way, I have explained in the slide already. Science has been developing the skills for making technology work. So it is something like this. And science discover, I will just go with an example. This is how science can, and on a live example is when we grow up mushroom. Science discover how changes in soil affect mushroom growth, whereas technology attempts to develop the ways to stop mushroom growth in a lawn. So technology have some common, both the science and technology have something in common, that they want to make use of that produce. A small example how we can relate, but I will just give a small story, a practical example. It is something like this, how the relationship between how science and technology, how it has extended from one point and how it is going to get related to the society. So it is something like this: when a rain falls on a mountain, rain falling on mountain does not wash away immediately. We know that it takes some time for to reach the downhill. So first it gets captured and stored by the forest, where it gives life to the tree and other vegetation, and finally it becomes greenery. So this can be treated as a demonstration of science. And secondly, what next? Rain gets stored in the forest and it bubbles out from springs and flows downhill in stream, and the stream steadily widens. So we see small streams separating into larger number of subflows and even underground. So we can compare this to the diversity of research and development that can arise based on the scientific knowledge, leading to planting of various new technological seeds. So this is another, the next step would be eventually the river reaches the farming communities and urban cities, where it is utilized for drinking water and other household purpose, and various other uses like agriculture and industry, and finally benefiting for all aspects of society. So this is equivalent to a research and development resulting in practical knowledge that boosts prosperity to the people's society and lives, and utilization of science and technology in respect to various issues faced by the society. If the forest failed to capture, if we imagine that it fails to capture enough of falling rain, society will quickly be faced with the drought. So this is a typical case when we don't have science and technology, and people will not be able to live. In the same way, realization of societal progress through science and technology requires a scientific accumulation of knowledge. So in other words, we can actually say that it can be the foundation strength for a society. However, foundation is not something that can be acquired in one day or something like that. It takes lot of time. And similarly, any science and technology development are basis of society, and therefore, in order to take us to the path of prosperity, it takes lot of time, and science and technology has to advance. Not only that, it has a great role in poverty alleviation as well as in achieving sustainable development goals. So it ultimately it leads to improving our wealth, improving our quality of life, our health, economic growth, and transformation in the society. So as I have told, these are very important in modern society and in our life. So life is there without science technology we can't have a life. So it is something like science, society, and technology are like a three-way state, and science-based technology development accelerate economic growth through its effects on industrial productivity. So because of technological advancements, access to knowledge also has increased. So we can always get the answers on how, when, what, all that. Earlier, it was not very simple. Now it is like why it's happening, when it is happening, all that is very easy to know. And this is a gift of technology to the society. So it allows us to make observation around the world, build more scientific and technological knowledge, and build the technology. Thus, it makes us think differently and do differently. The process of science is intertwined in technology application. So it can solve many of the practical problems and makes our life very, very easy and comfortable. So it also helps in taking informed decisions, and it is a what you call basis for new developments. Science gives us knowledge. So everyone knows, I am not saying the benefits of science because it is nothing new. Everyone, even a small child, knows about the recent technology. So it is it has got, as everyone knows, it is useful in all elements of our society. And these are like science, technology, and engineering innovations. These are all connected to the progress of any country. So coming to India, India or any country for that matter, definitions like underdeveloped, developed, developing countries, or even third world countries, these are all designating the level of economy. This is like basically application of science and technological development in this country. So we can say when we use these terms, it directly connects to the technological and scientific developments in those countries. So development is linked to technology, and technology can happen only when there is advancement in science. So these are directly proportional. So, and it should go hand in hand for a country to prosperous. So it is, if you see any country with strong base in science and technology, these are the ones that are prospering very faster. So compared to all countries like India is having a third position, and Russia, it is nation development and prosperity are judged by the science and technology development. So wherever there are more funds devoted to science and technology, maximum development occurs in those countries. And where are we in India? So that question is there before us. Where are we standing on science and technology? So according to Global Innovation Index 2021, we occupy the 46th rank out of 50 countries that they have surveyed. So this is the third position for scientific and technical manpower. So from historical time, if you see, we were the pioneers in most of the fields: maths, astronomy, medicine, Ayurveda, sorry, it's wrongly printed. It's Ayurveda, and Ayurveda, it's like something like 5000 BC, many years old. And those days itself, there were the Sushruta Samhita mentions about plastic surgery and cataract surgery, and it was one of the oldest in the medical history. And the establishment in the field of education, we are the pioneers, and we have the best universities in the world. Takshashila built something around 6th century BC, and we were the people who were, Aryabhatta was the person to introduce the concept of zero, and our contribution in terms of binary numbers, heliocentric theory are remarkable in the history of the world itself. So, and we have some few Nobel Prize winners. So it all means that we were and we are good in science and technology, and we have a good scientific manpower potential. And now we have to aim for creating more and more people in science and technology development. Actually, if you see, there is no place where Indians are not there, especially on all major leading institutes. It is known to everyone that people are there. And any child, if you ask anybody, would like to go and get into a good university to take up their job, because these are all they like that they like to be in science and technology. So these are some things which is known to everyone. And this advanced India has actually, as I have told, India has highly motivated and skilled manpower that is essential to make the country to achieve progress in all domains. So this is where we stand. And as I told, there are we have been contributing to development of science and technology. And I will just come to the point of societal impact of science and technology for development. So because of paucity of time, actually, I have taken more than 30 minutes now. I'm not getting into the details. So we will briefly discuss on how it is impacting the society and what's the future of science and technology. Just I will give one example on how it has impacted both positively as well as negatively. So we will take the typical example of education. When I was studying during my PhD's days, I had to go to several libraries, get into the books and read the whole volume of book to get one reference. So that was a condition. And I have to search for more libraries. So it was a very tough task, and there was no proper data. We had a tough time in gathering the information, putting it in the right form, writing the thesis. All now it is very, very easy. Everything we get in the internet, and which has like all piece of information is available in our computer. So that is the change that has happened because of science and technology. In one button, we can get all information, and most recent, and we have the latest library resource around the world, not even in India, but also across the world. We have information giving the scope for overall knowledge increase. So people understand almost everything. If not, they have access to knowledge. So if I don't know something, I can just get it within 1 or 2 minutes. I need only a mobile phone nowadays with some internet connection, so that the access to information has become so easy, and nobody get easily, and it's not so easy to cheat somebody or give some wrong information, because immediately you can get it checked. So our thinking power, it increases our thinking power also, and we are able to take judicious decisions and contribute towards further development. So only where there is understanding, inquisitiveness, these are the basis for promoting research for getting more and more details. So it creates a room for further research and development, which are milestones for a nation's progress. So there is a large shift. So accordingly, when the technology has developed, there is a large shift in social structure and how individuals contribute to society and make a living. For example, it's a typical industrial revolution. So the socio-economic, we know socio-economic structure as well as the kind of work people do has changed. When physical work was automated through technology, the blue collar jobs through internet and robotics increased, and the white collar jobs increased through artificial intelligence. So the aggregate wealth of the society has increased drastically. So even our middle class people are able to enjoy health, education, and other benefits, which were once upon a time were enjoyed by only the wealthy people. So when science and technology advances, especially in the fields of computer science, like artificial intelligence, cloud computing, storage, machine learning, etc., which are as a result of our curiosity, creativity, and problem solving techniques. So when we move towards such developments, ultimately there is a cost to the society also. So just like positive side, it has got negative impact also. This, as I have already told, we are exploiting our resources to achieve some of the benefits of science and technology. Especially this has a serious impact on environment, like when we use more gadgets, or when the science technology are progressing, there is a lot of environmental impact. Like it has a more environmental impact in the way of pollution, waste generation, and resource depletion. And as I have already told, we are just using one iPhone is like 79 kilograms of CO2 in its lifetime. And now, if we see the numbers, I have just given the number, it's 2.2 billion email users. The number before that, I am not able to read. And it's very difficult for me to count that number and tell. And now we hear the words like email traffic, air traffic, all that thanks to technology and scientific development. Because earlier we used to have only traffic on the road. Now it is like more of air traffic. When people sit in the flight, we can actually see them where they are flying, at what height, everything in one go. It's easy. So these are the thanks to, I should be thanking, or we should be thankful to the science and technology and the efforts of scientific community on taking us to such a wonderful world of gadgets. And our brilliant brains are the basis for such developments. So, and on one side, we are doing all this. Ecological footprints increases it actually damages our environment, which has serious repercussions in our life. Also, when we are the other unseen or unnoticed, or rather not much discussed area is how when the children or when people are using the gadgets, what are the physical and psychological changes. It has got a severe impact on our physical as well as psychological health. So we know it reduces our patience of reading, writing, reducing the capacity of the child to explore, get into the details behind it. And many children are so engrossed with the gadgets it actually dilutes our ethics and moral values. So when we go to some house, actually these are things which not discussed in open forum and all. So when we discuss, all are sitting and seeing the mobile, and they don't care who has come, what are they doing, and something like that. The relationship or the respect or the values in the society are getting diluted, which is like a visible change. Even my own children, when someone comes, they just say hi and go and sit in the mobile, because they are so busy in doing something on the mobile all the time. So if we ask them to put the mobile phone for half an hour also put down, they are not very comfortable. So this is how it has affected our day-to-day life, and it also has changed our belief system, our norms, our values, as well as our behavior. So germ theory, I'll just say how this germ theory has changed our sanitation habit and our. This is a simple example where we know more about knowledge. We are very cautious, especially in COVID time. It is very common for people to get sanitized. So it has become, this hand washing has become a habit because of the technology as well as the science propagation on the importance of hand washing because of the coronavirus. So the necessity has made us change the habit. So if you say this scientific theory and evidence has a great influence on our behavior also. So as I told, our not only our behavior is getting and our social relations are getting diluted, because the lifestyle, we are moving towards sedentary lifestyle, which is causing many health issues. On one side, we are resorting to a changing lifestyle and going for gym and all. Earlier nobody used to go for gym and all. Their daily routine itself was sufficient enough, but now things are getting changed. We eat a lot and go to the gym to burn it. So this is a change in our the way of life itself is getting changed, and people are resorting even to technology to get connected. So if I have to go to meet someone in Bangalore itself, which takes 1 hour, I would rather open my video call and chat with them. So it actually, that connectivity on one way, it is easy to get connected, but at the same time, physical meeting and the pleasure coming out of that thing is like slowly getting out of our normal routine. So this working from home, once upon a time when we don't want to go to office, we used to feel, if someone allows us to work from home, it would have been better. Now we are not enjoying work from home because it's more of a pain, because we can't see our colleagues, we can't get interacted. So what I'm trying to convey, the point is, science and technology has both positive as well as negative impacts. So this is what, so which how we use which is going to outweigh is all dependent on the individual. So it is with us to resort to technology how much we want. So thinking of all these pros and cons, we can take a judicious decision on how we want to use this technology and how it can make our life simpler or complicated. So another point I would just forgot to mention here is that children, when they resort to social media, they also one of the bad things are they are prone to many bad influences like cyberbullying and online harassments. So these are all the problems with respect to the advancement. So in one way it is good, one way it is equally bad. And when we become more and more virtual, the main point is we get disconnected from the environment. So earlier, Indian concept was to live in harmony with nature. So anything and everything we learn, and it is the resource for learning was environment. Now everything is virtual. In order to see a forest, we can sit in our room and open the mobile and see everything. So the reality and what we virtual learning are very, very different. So the experience is just replaced with a virtual tour. So this is one of the I would say it is one of the lacuna in or see the problems with respect to this technology advancements. And if one has to go physically to a resort or a forest to see and learn, it takes a lot of time, lot of energy, lot of cost. So always we try to resort to our social media or internet or use computers for getting the knowledge from that. So when we live on the principle, our body and mind, our thoughts, action, deeds, everything has is getting changed, and our life, like social as well as I would say the life is a total change from what we were having. And the next question is before us is what to expect. So before what to expect, how does science and technology has changed our various elements in the society? I have put in the slide. It's very clear. We know that there has been a significant improvement in communication, in health, in commercial business, in edutech and government, and everywhere. These are very, very useful in making the process very simple and making economic progress and make it profitable, judicial use of resources. All these are the what you call the plus or the advantages of science and technology on various sectors. These are some numbers only because I have not given a detailed description. And now, if you see this particular slide, we can actually see that on the advantages side, it is innumerable. These are only few sectors I've mentioned. So either we can't point out one sector or one point where there is no use of science and technology. So that is the level of influence science and technology has made in our life. So this again, all these have changed our lifestyles and other things. Now overall, this made in for a nation, there are two major roles for science and technology is to ensure national security as well as social stability. So it is our duty that we should get equipped for achieving the same. So what the main theme of the seminar is to they answer the question or to throw some light on what are our expectations from science and technology. So I would just the question before us: what is the limit? What are the limits for our expectations? So I would say sky should be the limit, because now when we are saying something, there is expectation has no limit. No, so it is something like we can expect anything. What we get is a bonus. So on a daily life, children are hearing me. So what they would say, like my daughter, her school is some 20 minutes away. When she wanted to go to school, she would she used to tell me, "Mommy, oh, don't wake me up. There is another half an hour left. My school is only 20 minutes." So she wanted one flight to go from my house to her school so that she can reach within 2 minutes. So these are these are some of the way of thinking of people. So this is some small what do you call expectation from us, from a small girl, from science and technology. So it is something like that. So when we have a mixie, we want something else. When we cook, we want microwave cooks very easy. Now we want something, the way things go, we would like someone to come and serve the cooked food. So there is no, I would say there is no limit for our expectation. So it is all within us. So this is what is the basis for the development. So this is what I am trying to convey. So the more you expect, the more we should be working for, and whatever comes is actually a gain, or it's actually benefiting for us. So there are what I say, this, as I have already mentioned, all our innovation should focus on sustainability. As sir has already mentioned, our when we and one student, Mr. Lucky, he has asked a question that about the science. And so when we consider all that thing, there are some things which we can do, because when there is something good, something bad also. So we can't negate the bad to make it everything. There is nothing like 100% perfect. So it is only if we can reduce the damages through our thinking, the way we do our work, and through our deeds, through our thinking process, all that matters in achieving what actually we want. So there are some few points. It is not a complete point, just I'm trying to conclude this, because as citizens, as I have told, there is no limit for our expectations. So we have to no other go than we have to resort to more and more technology that has got a serious repercussions on our environment, that will exploit our resource. So we have to think in terms of sustainability, because sustainability is something which is very important, because we can't exploit all the resource for ourselves. We have to keep something for our future also. So I would say that all developments should be based basically environment and human friendly. So all citizens in a nation. So who will do this part is another question. Who will do? All citizens are equally responsible. It's not the scientists alone or the technology developers, because we are part of the society. So everyone is responsible. So I should not be asking what can I do, because I also have a role, because at least I can communicate to some other people what I know. So this is how the information spreads. So all citizens of nations are responsible for its growth, and we should equip our youth with all possible facilities. So even Government of India has many schemes that has come up in last decade, basically to promote science education, because nowadays they are trying to, this new NEP 2020 has made this BS course as 4-year course, just to because there was a time when people were going more towards engineering and technology subjects. Now they wanted to bring more people into science, and they wanted to promote science. So this is a small step towards bringing more people into science, that they have made it a 4-year course, so that more people are joining into basic science and learn basic science. And there are some DST programs in which women who have a career break can take up science and do some research. So I have taken up 2 assignments in my lifetime from DST on that scheme. So when I had a career break, DST has supported me to do my research, and there are, as I told, there are many programs, many programs and processes in which we can use and we can promote this social promote science studies. And most importantly, whatever the role of scientist, as sir has already told, role of scientist is to take their research into a common man. So it is not so easy. It is not like we're writing papers and leaving it there. And it is not something which scientists discuss among themselves about. They talk lots and lots about taking science and talking science. But when you go, actually, I have been struggling so much when I am working on, as I have already told, I am working on a project on water hyacinth. So one simple thing was, when we tried to name it in Malayalam, so the project area is in Kerala. So I had to convert that water hyacinth into Malayalam. It took 2 days for me to convince them what I'm trying to say, because it is so difficult, because the jargons, the converted jargons and the local language, what they use, the names, what they use was very, very, very different. And when we say something, they actually put us into a situation where it gives more, what you call it actually triggers, or we have to think more and more what to answer to them. So another example, I just wind up with one more example. I went for a meeting on Pampa River rejuvenation committee. I was also a member of that committee. So at that time, somebody told the desi cow dung can solve almost all problems. So I was like, what is he talking? Why these people are talking all sort of nonsense like that? That immediate thinking was on that direction for me. Later, when I was coming back in train, I was just asking my colleague, my friend, what is he talking? He said, it is true to some extent, because many of the problems, it is not the cow dung, it is the methane emission. If you just try to connect it with the methane emission, then you will get the answer. So what he told was correct. So it is something like some people will put the seed of doubt on us, which make us think. So this is what the role of society in making a scientist, or provoking someone for technological advancement. So I've been like, there are like, I am in science communication for almost like 13-14 years. So each of my training program or each of my interaction with community has taught me one thing or the other, which has made me think, that has that has put some inquisitiveness into my mind, which has actually helped me to learn more and more. So it is the community or the society that is the driving force for science and technology. As Government of India, I'll just conclude, as Government of India program, there are so many programs for Sampann Bharat, like Swachh Bharat, Sukanya program, and Swasth Bharat. These are something which we should be contributing to. So we also have a greater role in nation building. So it is not me or you, it is a collective effort also. So this is what we have to tell our young generation, the Gen Z. They have to be prepared for, or they have a greater role. They have to understand their role and they have to contribute, because they are the future of the nation. So with that, I just conclude my talk, and I would like to my two colleagues, Dr. Indrajudan and Binoy, who has been supporting on preparation of this talk. As I told, I have not talked great science and all. So just my simple points, which I have tried to put it in an organized manner. So any questions on this, I would like to answer that. And with that, I thank you, all of you, for patiently listening. And if there is any mistake, you can please come back to me and correct. So with that, I just say thank you and hope to meet you all soon. I'm
Thank you, ma'am.
handing over to Anupriya, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for such a stimulating session. And please accept our sincere appreciation for the outstanding presentation. Now, ma'am, you want to ask something?
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Yes, tell me, ma'am.
Yeah. As we know, you have also explained very well, science and technology has millions of good and few bad effects, like social media, mobiles, which led to psychological and physical issues. But ma'am, kindly tell your point of view that does technological progress really make people feel happy? Little bit. Let us discuss. Share with us your views, please.
Yeah. The question is whether technological development has made you happy.
Yeah.
What is your opinion, ma'am?
First, you tell.
Are you happy?
I'm also happy, but sometimes psychological effects, social media, use of all technology, how it is affecting not only to me, other society.
Yeah, I'll just tell you one example, ma'am.
Yeah.
Earlier, we don't know. We go for a blood test, okay? We go for a blood test, we wait for the results to come. So that much tension we have. Now, as soon as we go for a blood test, the doctor gives H1ABC blood test, this one. So immediately we go to the internet and we start searching. So immediately our mind starts working. What will be the result? And we wait. The moment we get the report, we don't even see. We just see the range, whether we are fitting in that range. And when a small pain in the knee, we start imagining that whether is it cancer or will I problem if I don't sweat out, is it kidney problem? So these are all thanks to technology. No, we never had this problem before. No, it could create only chaos in our life. So are you happy? This is a question, and it's an individual question. My daughter, she had only sinus pain. Okay, she is just 18. She had sinus pain. She has imagined so much. She searched for all problems that could create the headache for her. And 2 days she could not eat. This is also again a technology problem, right? A technology induced problem. So whether you can be happy in such a situation is what is to be. It is an individual called, right?
Yeah.
So this is my simple.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we see some new film and all, technology, when we see jokes, it gives you some happiness. So it's which outweighs at what time is based on the situation. No, I feel like that way.
Yeah.
But I will tell one thing that again, I'm coming to the same point. When I actually meet the community people, they are like, I will say whether I will be happy or not. My point is that when I go to community, my first experience I have shared with my colleagues in my presentation earlier also. When we study everything, so we go to the community. So we are like, I am basically a city born, city breed. And when you go to the community, they offer you food, they hug you, they give you with the dirty hands and all, which you can't deny also. You're forced to eat. So it's a sort of embarrassment when you actually go to the community. The community, what I'm saying, is a real community, not like a hi-fi society or a slum or something like that. A community means a grassroots level. So after 1 or 2 visits, you actually get connected to them because of the love and affection they show you. When you go there, they will be waiting for you. All that gives happiness. So which outweighs. So nowadays I feel so comfortable that I am going to them, because the affection, the love, the care, what you get is like you can't. It's countless. So again, the what we think, what we our what do you call? We are in a framework, mental and physical framework, that we don't want to go to them, and how I will manage these people. All that was there. How, if they give food, how will we eat? I go to a place where the water quality is really bad. So when they give water, my immediate thinking, how much virus is there, how much parasite would be there. So this is my mindset. Okay, I go with that stigma. So on one side I can't deny, also at the same time, like how to accept. So the love and affection, so sometimes we have to take a choice. So I would say it depends on the situation to situation and person to person. So either way it is.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes. Over to Anupya, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much again for sparing your time and experience with us. So something could not be put into words, and thank you is such a thing. It can only be felt. With these words, I would like to invite Professor Jasprit Kaur, Head of the Department of Physics, to present vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
A very good afternoon to all. It is my profound honor to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of Gujranwala Khalsa Education Council and Faculty of Science, Gujranwala Guru Nanak Khalsa College, I would like to extend my special thanks to all our eminent guests, resource persons, and participants. I must mention a deep sense of appreciation for our guest speakers, Professor Muronga and Dr. Jeshri, who, despite of their busy schedule, accepted our invitation, graced today's webinar by sharing their deep knowledge with our students and all other participants. I express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. S.P. Singh Ji, President, Gujranwala Khalsa Educational Council and former Vice Chancellor, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, and Sardar Arvinder Singh Ji, Honorary General Secretary, Gujranwala Khalsa Education Council. A big thanks is deserved for our worthy principal, Dr. Arvinder Singh Bhalla Ji, for his systematic planning for this webinar. A very special thanks to our technical team from the Computer Science Department, Mr. Satprakash Ji. A well-deserved thank is reserved for Dr. Anupya and Dr. Paramjit Singh for smooth conducting of today's international webinar. At last, I should show my sincere thanks to all the participants for their patience and unwavering attention. At last, thank you very much, everyone. Now, Mr. Satprakash Ji, kindly sign out the meeting, please.
And thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.